So this year we have 20 competitors. We are a minute away from, in fact you can probably hear the signal in the background of the first bike setting off onto the track. And as I say, free practice this morning. Tomorrow morning we'll have qualifying, and then Saturday morning we will have the race itself. That's the plan. And generally things do go to plan at Macau. Last year was a bit of a freak, but as I said, it was a little bit worrying when the typhoon warnings were being issued earlier in the week, and thinking, oh no, not again, surely not. In the 25 years I've been coming to Macau, I've never known rain or any kind of weather like last year, and then to think again, having it again this year was just unprecedented. But anyway, as I say, it looks like things are on the up. 15 seconds away, and you see everybody's very relaxed, waiting to get away. So Phil Crow, a regular at Macau, about to go out. So to Lucas Mora, number 81. We'll go through the rules in a moment. Maurizio Bottolico is out, Phil Crow has gone out, Lucas Mora is out, Lauren Hoffman is out, Paul Jordan has just gone out too. To see Don Gilbert, he's also making his way out for the first time around the gear circuit. And Lucas Mora is the first into the first timing sector. Mandarin. Then they'll go to the second timing sector, which is up San Francisco Hill, up towards Maternity. In fact, most of the riders are now out. Jordan West is out, Michael Evans is out, Davo Johnson, Almeric Blanc is also out. In fact, it's probably easier to tell you who has sat back. Davey Todd's not gone out yet, Marcus Simpson's not gone out yet, Michael Sweeney's not gone out yet, and Peter Hickman's not gone out yet. Tend to do 2.5 minutes to complete a lap at race speed or racing speed. And again, just chatting with the riders this morning, everyone just wanting to settle back in. Nothing really to be gained by pushing too hard in these early sessions. Again, it's free practice, none of the times will count. Tomorrow morning is when they will be looking to post some time, but even then, generally, as long as you're on the first 3 rows of the grid, you're in with a pretty good chance of a good result. So, unlike the cars here at Macau, where space is at a minimum, not such to say, a little bit around this twisty part of the track, you'll see very few overtaking manoeuvres once they start rising up the hill from San Francisco. And they get down to Fisherman's. It's from there onwards, really, between Fisherman's and Lisboa, any passing moves will take place. So Erno Costomo, winner of course back in 2022. Davey Todd is yet to go out, so Hickman has just left, he's gone out, so in fact Davey Todd is now on track as well. It's just Michael Sweeney back for the first time since 2019. Great to see Michael Sweeney back here. First rider crossing the line now, Lucas Mora. So Lucas Mora completes a lap, Phil Crow's gone through, Maurizio Bottolico has also completed a lap. And they're all around just under the 3-minute mark, so half a minute slower than they would. In fact, Erno Costomo has come straight in. So Erno is in. So Hoffman continues on. Paul Jordan has carried on. They get a good mix of nationalities this year. Switzerland, Italy, Finland, Belgium, France, of course. Got Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, the Isle of Man, plus all the British riders as well. But Costomo, the only one that's come in so far, the end of his first lap. But again, Maybe just something, a little adjustment. And you'd have to say, to be perfectly honest, with temperatures around the 19 degrees Celsius mark, it's really good for the bikes this morning. Ryan Whitehall has just come in at the end of his first lap as well. But everyone else has continued. Todd, Simpson and Hickman are all on their first lap of the session. Again, it's nice to have those times at the bottom of the screen, but really mean nothing. And they will mean nothing really this morning. No one will gain anything time-wise or grid-wise. So why do the bikes go first ahead of the cars is often a question that is asked. The main reason, and yeah, obviously, so cars drop oil, you know, etc. The track will be greasy, but generally, the main reason is that the track has to be altered. There are air fences for the motorcycles which are removed after the bikes have been on track, so the cars can have a bit more road service to use, and obviously they don't need. So you see there, air fences, they have to be removed for the cars. Hickman's continued on, by the way. Davey Todd and Marcus Simpson will be coming around to complete their first laps of this year's Macau Grand Prix. Todd has just crossed the line. So Davey Todd into Lisboa. Watching Davey Todd on screen. So first gear into Lisboa, then click into second here, the climb for San Francisco. Third, fourth gear, then a little touch of the brakes. Then back into, start knocking back into second gear through here on the run to maternity. First, second gear. But we now have Peter Hickman on screen. Erno Costomo and Ryan Whitehall are still in pit lane. About half a dozen bikes go past my commentary position here at Macau. The lap time's coming down, 2:37. Paul Jordan the fastest so far. So that record, of course, still stands from 2010. Incredibly, Stuart Easton, the 2:23. Another rider just coming into pit lane. I'm not too sure who that was coming in. Marcus Simpson. So Marcus Simpson's just come in. Just trying to find some more information here. It came up that Marcus Simpson had retired at turn 21, but then carried on again. So turn 21 is just out of Melco, but yeah, so I think that's Ryan Whitehall at the top of your picture that we're looking at there as Peter Hickman goes through Mandarin. Peter Hickman, winner back in 2023, full-time for the Macau Grand Prix winner. And here is Todd still out. Todd winning Metzler's. And that is the bike that he's on. That's the bike that he won the Isle of Man Senior TT. Or the Senior TT bike, I should say. That's the bike he rode in the Isle of Man Senior TT, won the Senior TT last year, of course. So it's a super stock with like a superbike frame, etc. It's, in fact, the same bike that he won the Southern 100 in the Isle of Man, won the Southern 100 Championship this year. And of course, the same bike that he rode in BSB. However, the difference is in British Superbikes they have to run certain electronics, which they don't need to on the roads. Meanwhile, his teammate at 810 Racing, Peter Hickman, is on the superbike. He has a superbike within the same superbike he rode at the TT, etc. So we're still looking at Davy Todd, winner of the Macau Grand Prix last year, of course, even though it was based on the qualifying session times, as we didn't actually get to run the race. And just see going around there how they're going out, keeping it a little bit wide. That part of the track is really dirty. Where those car parking spaces are, once the cars clear that away, once they've been round, it will certainly be a lot more. You'll see them hugging the Armco a little bit more than they're doing at the moment. Just staying in the cleaner part of the track. Coming out of Fishman's towards our bend. You can see in the distance at the top of the picture there, life goes on while a motorcycle pre-practice session takes place here at the Macau Grand Prix. Paul Jordan, certainly on the pace already in the early stages of this session. So Paul Jordan looking to take certainly fancy Paul Jordan for a top 6 position this year at the very least. In fact, he would be, I would say he would have an eye on a possible podium. It's certainly been a good couple of years for Paul Jordan. He's really improved, really good reputation as a 600cc rider, but he's really shown his mettle on the big super stock bikes, the 1000cc machine. He's riding on Metzler's. In fact, one of the riders, Ulrich Blank, has got Bridgestone. It's been a while since I've seen Bridgestone on a motorcycle. Go through who's on what tyres shortly. Rob Hodson, who finished 5th last year, and he finished 5th in 2023. And he also finished 5th in 2022. Rob Hodson of SNT Racing, Robin Croft, who's been coming to Macau for many, many years, the team owner with SNT Racing. He's enjoyed success here as well. They're a team that has been on the top step of the podium, which again reminds me to mention Michael Rutter, the most successful motorcyclist around Macau, 9-time race winner. He's not here this year, unfortunately, following his crash at the Isle of Man TT. Still not quite fully fit. Who's to say he won't be here next year as a 53-year-old and looking for that perfect 10. Davy Todd's the only rider to go inside 2:32 so far. So Davy Todd was, this is his 5th time at Macau, made his debut back in 2018, qualified 11th on that occasion, finished 9th. The following year, he qualified 12th, row 3. Went on to finish 4th in 2019, came back in 2023, qualified 2nd, finished 2nd. And then, of course, last year, claimed the win. majority of the field on Pirellis and Metzlers. Davy Todd, he is on Metzler. The exceptions are Rob Hodson, he runs on Dunlop. Peter Hickman runs on Dunlop. Ryan Mitchell's on Dunlop. Michael Sweeney, he's also on Dunlop as well. Sam West is on Dunlop. Blanc is on a Bridgestone. And then we've got Fair. He's on Dunlop as well. Eddie Fair, Frenchman. Quite a few riders have made their way into the pits. Paul Jordan, Rob Hodgson's in, Lucas Mora's in. So too Michael Evans, Mitch Reese, Lauren Hoffman, Almeric Blanc, Ryan Whitehall, Marcus Simpson. What's going on with Erno Costomo? So issue with Erno Costomo is that he had a quick shifter issue, which is all being sorted now. So that was the reason that Erno came in after that first lap. So Erno Costomo came in, quick shifter issue, came back in. Of the field that we have, just looking through, obviously Davy Todd and Peter Hickman have been on the podium before, so too Davo Johnson when he was on the PBM Ducati back in 2019, and I know his good pal Danny Tianto, former footballer, will be watching and supporting him from Queensland. There is Paul Jordan. I think he'll be reasonably satisfied with how things have gone. So certainly you'd have to look at the racing this year, and you'd have to say Davy Todd, Peter Hickman and Erno Costomo, who won back in 2022. Those are your three favourites for podium positions ahead of Saturday's race. But who are the guys that could maybe nudge one or two of them off? Certainly Paul Jordan you'd have to put in that bracket. Rob Hodson you'd have to say would be good with a top six. Davo Johnson, you'd be thinking if he was outside the top six, he wouldn't be too happy. Davo Johnson, in fact, a bit of a veteran of Macau. If you look through the entry list, he's the bit of a veteran here, the Australian rider. He's made his Macau Grand Prix debut back in 2010. And along with, and I think it's Sam West and Peter Hickman, I think this, so I'm pretty sure, just looking through the entry list again now, or was it Michael Sweeney? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. No, it is Sam West, David Johnson, Peter Hickman. This is their 7th time at Macau, and we're obviously without Michael Rutter here this year. So they are the riders, the most experienced riders when it comes to the Motorcycle Grand Prix at Macau. Just noticed there's someone running on at Lisboa. Nothing, I would say, to be too concerned about, as they'll be looking to, as I think Hickman's just coming in now, but nothing that they will be too concerned about at this stage. Just looking for a breaking point. This is the run that we're talking about coming down to Lisboa. There's the grandstand on the left. You can see a little bit of runoff there. Then tuck in. And into here again, second gear, then into up San Francisco. Third gear, fourth gear. Then knocking it back down to third and second again. And it's really quite steep, San Francisco Hill. The TV pictures level things out. gearing and some electronic issues as well with his BMW, but he's back out on track. And a really impressive rider, Erno Cosmo, back home in Finland. He's the king of Imatra, of course, which you'd expect, but made his Isle of Man TT debut a couple of years ago and really took his time. Really methodical rider. He really impresses me, really does impress me. And last year was running very similar times to Peter Hickman and Davey Todd during qualifying. I know it was all very sketchy last year here at Macau for all the bikes, but yeah, he could be right in there with them this year come the race. So Davo Johnson also, I think, had some electronic issues. So he's back out on track too. 40 minutes of this session to remember. There is Michael Sweeney, I mentioned earlier, first time back since 2019. First made his debut back in 2014, Michael Sweeney, so, and it's been, and of course, very well documented the injuries he's suffered through racing over the years. Yeah, he gets himself patched up, back together again. Just looking back through, in fact, it's quite surprising really. He's never actually finished in the top 10, which is a bit of a surprise, but I think certainly he would like to achieve that this year. I only met him briefly this morning to say hello. Not had a chance to chat with him so far, but 13th was his best result when he was back here in 2019. Got a few newcomers as well, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Just looking down now. So this is on screen at the moment. Maurizio Bottalico, we're talking about newcomers. The only Italian here this year. Number 40. Majority of this field racing on superstock engines. Erno Cosmo has a superbike engine, but it's a superstock frame. And Rob Dunlop is also, he's got a brand new superbike as well, Rob Hodson, for Macau. So that's a brand new engine, so I think there's only 3, whether you wouldn't call Erno Cosmo's a fully blown superbike, but certainly Peter Hickman, Rob Hodson, Erno Cosmo, all with superbikes. The rest, the likes of Michael Evans, etc., all racing superstock engines. Yeah, it's crucial to get the corners right at Macau, as it is with any racetrack, of course, but certainly coming into the likes of Lisboa. I mean, you're talking in terms of come the race. In fact, they're not too far off it, of course, but going into Lisboa, they're talking over 190 miles an hour. And it's crucial for Lisboa, you have to be fast out of Mandarin, the little kink just before it. Then it's up into 5th, 6th. You've got to get these corners right. Certainly on the fast bits. Arguing maybe that Mandarin, the most important corner, perhaps. You've got to be fast out of there. If you can get it out of there, then you're going to have a good lap. If you're not fast out of Mandarin, it can really screw things up. Peter Hickman's still in, by the way. Rob Hodgson is currently in. Paul Williams, Lauren Hoffman has just gone out. Marcus Simpson is still in. Erno Cosimo is back in again. So Paul Jordan back out as well. Still in, but again the great thing is they've got plenty of time, and let's hope for similar conditions again tomorrow and 48 hours from now. A little bit later, it's a little bit later on the schedule, the race. It's still the first event of the calendar of the day, I should say, here at Macau, the bikes. Then it will be cars all day, and if you're watching, just remind you, I'm Dave Moore. It will be Alan Hyde and David Addison. We'll keep you company and bringing you all the latest information and details throughout the day for all the car sessions. So Paul Jordan, it's all going to plan. Brand new bike for him, a couple of laps just to bed it in, check everything's happy, and second quickest in this free practice session, so you'd have to say he's very, very happy. Again, I mentioned Peter Hickman is in. He might just be, I don't need to learn anymore, I'm quite happy. He might just be killing a little bit of time. Davey Todd's by a distance, really, 2:28.5. So he is 5 seconds off, well, lap record pace. You'd have to say he's 3 seconds off race pace. Effectively, you look back over the years, 2 minutes 25. Oh, now then, that's not what we want to see. And I think bring the session to a temporary pause. Something's been clipped by the looks of things, and that is a red flag. So the red flag has been issued. Just over half an hour to go. And a little bit, you can see a bit of fluid on the track as well. So now whether or not they will stop the clock or whether they will let the clock continue remains to be seen. So everyone just leisurely making their way back. But again, a little reminder there of what Macau is about. And while it's a challenging Davey Todd being Davey Todd there, and while there are more challenges than you'd expect, just trying to get a little bit some information. All going to plan so far. I'm hearing for Davey Todd as well. There is, see, very leisurely looking Peter Hickman. Luke Brown looking after him this year in the absence of Darren Jones. Lauren Hoffman back at Macau. So yeah, Lucas Moore have been going quite well. That is Lisboa. Here is Davy Todd. Be happy with the way things are going so far. The clock is continuing to count. Whether it will be reset remains to be seen. Let's see if we can hear this.
No, I just said like 5 laps.
So there you go. You heard from Peter Hickman. We kind of suggested that might be the case. But certainly, yeah, you heard he did 5 laps, happy with 5 laps. That's it. Davey questioned everything okay. So yeah, looking good. It was Michael Sweeney. Oh dear. So there you see the fluid that I mentioned, but the bike parked up. Michael, though, good to see that he was up on his feet. I'm just looking there. That is Donna Maria. If you know your way around, it's just not far. It's just on the way towards the Melco hairpin. It's towards the top of the circuit. Poor old Michael Sweeney back in Macau after a 6-year gap, and that's certainly not, and I was saying before, he's looking for a top 10 at least. Hopefully the damage to the bike is just a little bit superficial and they can get that sorted, but I don't think we'll be seeing Michael Sweeney again this morning. Hopefully we will see him again tomorrow morning. Maybe we'll have the camera back in pit lane. We might be able to pick up a little bit of conversations that are taking place. Paul Jordan, his previous best is 2 minutes 29.7. And he's done a 2:32.7. Lauren Hoffman, well known by 174, the Belgian rider. So that's Eddie Fair, the French rider that's here, one of 2 French riders at the Macau Grand Prix here this year. So I think obviously he's talking about how do I get back, and I think they're probably saying you've got to go around this way. Well, it's certainly a unique event, the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix. He's got to put it up there. The 4 greatest road races in the world, the Isle of Man TT, the Northwest 200, the Ulster Grand Prix, and the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix as well. They're all very, very different, of course.
Portolico in 9th ahead of Sam West. The Paul Williams 11th. Michael
That clock is still ticking, and we don't expect it to be reset for the rest of the session. They're just discussing Michael Sweeney. That's Michael Sweeney's partner. Rob Watson's crew working away on the SMT bike. See the Daffer bet machine back in there. The first time they've used Honda this year. Again, I'm just trying to see if we can pick up anything from the microphone on the camera in the pit lane. Now then, is 26 minutes enough to get that cleaned and ready again? But as you heard from Peter Hickman there, he was happy with doing 5 laps. And there's Michael Sweeney, just coming over to say sorry, perhaps. Or maybe, how am I going to get this bike back? But just you can see there as well what the bike has done. Really fair, stuck down at Lisboa. Whether he got pulled in because of the red flag, who knows? Whether he's got an issue. But someone's been kind enough to hand him a bottle of water anyway. But as I was saying, we heard Peter Hickman saying that 5 laps was enough. Maybe for the majority of the riders, they'll be, yeah, we've had enough track time. Obviously, they want as much track time as they can get, but if this could be the end of the session, and I'd say not that I'm privy to any information on any of this, but certainly some will be reasonably happy ahead of qualifying tomorrow, whereas some of the newcomers will be wanting a little bit more track time. Paul Jordan, we heard, he is very, very happy with the way things are so far. On a brand new bike, managed to get a few laps in. Michael alongside in there as well. Just getting a few messages in from around the world. Apparently it's pouring down with rain back home in the Isle of Man. Michael Evans and Marcus Simpson, the Isle of Man representation. There's Davo Johnson and Rob Hodson. And again, the teams, you can see garage space is really precious. You get 4 bikes to a pit garage down here. For Rob Hodson just waving hello. That brand new superbike. And there's Danny Horn and Michael Evans with the Dafabet machine. Really happy with the way their prep has been with a brand new bike. And here's a picture that we'll see a little bit, well, quite a lot of, I think, over the next 3 days. Hopefully, no, not with the motorcycles. Let's hope this is the last time we see this. You can just see the bike is being collected. Whether we might get another 10 minutes or so towards the end. It's fairly second gear, pretty much over the all the way over the top from San Francisco through to Melco. 1 or 2 clip into third here and there. Eddie Fair is making his way back. He's given the all clear to continue. Eddie, a newcomer to Macau this year. Always good to get the mop out.
所以所有的这手使用的4支方程式的赛车将会统一进行调教，那么同时呢是分配给车手来进行争夺，谁能够在世界杯的比赛里面夺得冠军，在澳门成功的登顶，将会是在自己的职业生涯履历当中留下非常光彩的一笔。